Mike, I'm glad we wanted to learn a little bit more about the Powstanie cigars here. And I've had the Connecticut. The Connecticut is great.
Thanks.
I know you got the broadleaf that's out now.
Yep.
Yeah, and wanted to talk a little about that, a little bit about your passion. I did a little bit of a dive into the company. Before we came here, I saw about how the name came from the Polish Uprising.
Yep.
Just, if you could just talk to us a little bit about, how you came into that and your passion for cigars.
Sure. I mean, for me, my passion has always just kind of been matched by the opportunity to grow and win, right? So I was never really in cigars when our store started. People came into this shop that we were going to make a tattoo parlor, and they started asking for cigars, right? So hey, opportunity, and it was a place that had closed, I guess, years prior. So we decided to make cigars. Instagram was kind of new, social media was just kind of beginning, so I learned how to cultivate and build that. And I started working out really well at the time, before the algorithm changes and all that other stuff, right? That whole thing. And I built a website as well. So, in an era when if you weren't a big dog, it didn't make sense to do something like that. We went ahead and did it, and it actually started to succeed. So much to a point where we actually caught attention from other big retailers, and they had problems with that, and they started controlling inventory from us for specific items. Yeah. So what had happened was I became friends with these guys, Aroma Craft dudes, and I told them they were just kind of in their infancy, and I said, hey, I wanted to make a cigar, something that no one else could control.
Right.
So, that was really kind of the birth of Powstanie cigars. So my brother and I went down there. I blended the Habano at that time. He blended the broadleaf. Okay. And we had no idea what we were going to call it. So Skip gave us some advice and said, hey, well, you guys are Polish. Why don't we lean into that? And we did. So we picked the Powstanie line, and it really kind of fit for us because it's uprising, right? It's revolutionary. It's going up against people that have tanks, and they're fighting with sticks and rocks and all that other stuff.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So our cash flow is smaller. The odds are stacked against us, and yet here we are, 15 years later as retailers and 10 years as wholesalers.
That's awesome.
So it's gone really, really well. We became friends with other retailers along the way, and we handle distribution for them too. Okay. So I'm really proud of that. It's awesome to be honored. We're very grateful to have those friends that trust you with their brands. These are like your kids. Yeah. So
absolutely.
You want to make sure that people that are representing you are going to represent the way you want to.
Right.
So I'm very honored to be a part of that. And then we released the Connecticut last year.
Yes.
So last year, I blended the cigar originally 10 years ago when my son was being born. And it's called, at that time I made 100 sticks, and they were called Apollo Danny. I wanted to name him Apollo, and my wife, if it was going to be a girl, she was going to name him Danny. Okay. And once we determined that it was going to be a boy, I could no longer name him Apollo. So we had to renegotiate the name. Gotcha. And we named him Justice. So the 5.5 by 46 has his name on it. Okay. Which is awesome to me. It's a big deal. When I showed him the first time, he did not care. I'm like, check this out. He's like, but then, I started doing Instagram clips and building videos and stuff. He's like, I like this. This is nice, because now he's at an age where he's a little more competitive. Right. His older brother and all this stuff, and his older brother doesn't have a cigar. Okay. At that time, I wasn't in that aspect of the industry. Right. So Justice is the middle child, and he got it first. So. Awesome, man. So my passion really just comes from providing for them. Awesome. I just want to succeed and be a good dad, be a good husband, and just kind of crush. So. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Just that generalization of family, the most important thing, heritage, that lineage, and I love what you're doing, putting your son's name and blending your own cigars, man. That can go on for ages. Absolutely. You know what I mean? That can be passed down, and just a little bit about the broadleaf, if we can go into that. Yeah. I want to talk about that cigar now. What was your mind frame when you actually went in for the blend? So we blended these cigars. This was the first creation. Okay. And what happened was we were originally only going to create one cigar. So when we were down there, Skip was educating us on how to blend, and I kind of quickly learned that the Habano wrapper has a tendency to be more neutral, and you can work with it as far as your filler and your binder. It's a little more complex. Okay. So I leaned towards that Habano. And then my brother started developing this broadleaf. And, we're there. We're only gonna make one cigar, and I say, well, my Habano is better, and he goes, well, my broadleaf is better. So what we did was we made 100 packs, and we brought them back to the States, and they said Road A or Road B. And they had 2 Habano Toros and 2 broadleaf Toros. 2 broadleaf Toros. If I remember the story correct, getting old but
that's that competitive aspect still in there. Got to keep that in there. That's right. Okay.
You know what, man? If I'm not competing, if I don't have something to drive me, then I just kind of am stagnant.
That's 100, man.
It's kind of crazy, you know. Like, I don't mean to deviate off the story, but like, the Connecticut for us last year got so much notoriety. It was tough for me to process, man. Like, so many people were like, "Hey, awesome job, great," and I'm not used to that. I'm used to being told, "Hey, you can't do that."
Yeah.
Hey, you're not qualified.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'm like, bet, it's okay,
right.
I'm going. So then all of a sudden, when you got all that, after all those years of just go, it was hard for me to kind of take that in.
Kind of process that. I got you.
So we made these cigars. We put them in these little packs, and we had people vote.
Okay.
So the Habano had won, but it was by like less than a percentage. I mean, it was so small. We were like, okay, well, I guess we got 2 bangers on our hands. So we decided to release the broadleaf following thereafter. What's really kind of funny now is that after all these years, my brother smokes more of the Habano, and I smoke more of the broadleaf. So I'll smoke the Connecticut on the way to work. I'll have a Habano or a War Bear, so that's where it flexes in the middle of the day. And then on the way home, I'll smoke the broadleaf 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So, you just learn these nuances and these flavor profiles, and you try and figure how do you accent it, how do you offset it, how do you make it different. So when he blended this broadleaf, he wanted to make sure that it had that body of the broadleaf, but it still had more complexity in the interior. And your fillers really have to have something in order to do that. And your binder actually is important. So like, we like Indonesia binder a lot. We've used it on a lot of our blends because of the ash that it makes it look, and it is a little more neutral. I've seen some blenders actually say, oh, Indonesia. Like, oh man, how did you taste that? Because I can't taste it.
And I'm glad that you said that too, because people tend to downplay the binder a lot. They don't realize the importance behind that, and it's all the flavors in the wrapper and all that. No, you get a lot of important aspects in construction from that binder.
The binder is everything. Because the first time I blended the Habano, I did a Habano wrapper and a Habano binder, and it didn't matter what the filler was, because all you could taste was the Habano.
Right.
Like nothing else.
Right.
So then I figured out how to offset that.
Okay.
And then I made my blend, right? Yeah. The Connecticut is different, and it's not like any other Connecticut in this place, because the fact that the binder is Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Wow.
So it's got body to it.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of it being just this kind of baseline, like flat, mild cigar, I need something that's got a little more body.
A little more body.
I want that robustness. Like I need that, so it has that. It's got that entry-level cigar smoker that's trying to ramp up but not willing to commit to something that old. And it's also that way of a person that likes to smoke cigars throughout the day but doesn't want to smoke something that's totally mild in the morning. Right.
That's awesome. So going forward with Powstanie and everything, what can we look for new coming from you guys, and what do you see yourselves going here in the future? Do you see any kind of collaborations or any kind of blends that you got your mindset on that you want to put out there for people to?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things going on, to be honest. Like the reality is that the broadleaf wrapper in itself is kind of hard to come across right now.
Yes.
So what we're probably going to do is we're going to table that production until that becomes available, and we're going to work on another bold replacement. I'm going to actually go down to Nicaragua at the end of April, and we already have the game plan kind of established. We're trying to surmise that exactly what's going to happen. As far as collaborations go, I've done a couple in the past. Some things with Eric Espinoza and some things with Matt Booth, which is really awesome to me because those doors were never open.
Right.
But those guys are great friends to me. They've always taken care of me.
Great guys.
What's really cool is like I like being the candy maker. Hey, and I like leaning into someone's strengths. So if they do something really well, I'm gonna say, okay, I would like to put my spin on that, and here are my thoughts, and like let's create this. So that could always happen, or who knows? Maybe I could do a couple of different one-offs with Skip and Nika Swindon. That could happen too. I honestly believe that I'm in the best factory in the world. You know, they do unbelievable research in acquiring tobacco, fermenting it, taking care of it.
Okay.
So like that is where all the hard work takes place. I don't have that ability. I have no idea how to do that. When you see some guy in a picture, they're like, you know, they're looking at a leaf, like, give me a break.
Yeah.
You know, unless you've been in those fields for the past 40 years, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, they've done a great job of doing that research, learning those things, understanding blends, how to create accents out of cigars that I haven't seen anybody else do. So, those are the guys I want to work with.
Hey, man, I heard that. It's always great to have a great team like that with you, man, rocking with you, that's, you know, willing to sit down, listen to your ideas, work you into play, let you say, hey, let me take the chip on this. Look, let me fill out what I'm trying to give you. You know, it's great to have a team like that.
Yeah,
man.
like one of the first statements Skip ever said to me, he's like, hey, listen, I'm going to throw you in the deep end, but you're going to have waiters. You know, like, I'm not going to let you drown. And that's exactly what he did when we blended the cigar. So I blended a cigar and I messed it up. He's like, okay, so what'd you do wrong? I don't know. He starts breaking it down, explaining to me where I did things that made the blend, you know, overbearing and one-dimensional inside. So like Habano wrapper, Habano binder, done. You know, stuff like that. So I'm fortunate enough to be working with those guys, and I'm grateful for the fact that, you know, I learned who they were early on in their journey and my journey as well. So.
Okay. Awesome, Mike. Well, man, we are very, you know, very grateful that you sat down with us today.
Of course.
And we definitely look forward to reviewing your cigars on the channel.
Thank you.
And we are definitely going to be behind you 100%, man.
I appreciate it.
We wish you much continued success
Thank you, sir. Hey,
in the
man, you
future,
know,
man.
At the end of the day, you guys are doing a lot of the hard work, a lot of the heavy lifting, and like this ain't easy. Right?
No, it's not.
Being in media and putting in having fresh content and going in and meeting people and doing all that, like I don't think that a lot of people understand what it takes. And you know, I'm really grateful for the fact that you guys came over here to sit down and talk with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Continue. Guys, this has been Mike with Powstanie Cigars. StickGod, we out.